Hey everyone, it's David here. It has been a while since I've last posted. Hope everyone is doing well. Today I just want to take the time to talk about a question that I've had in my Discord channel. I made a Discord channel for all the appraisers, trainees, and people like me who just want to get more information on this career and this industry, and it's a great community. I just want to say thank you to those that have joined and thank you to those that have contributed to the community that we built so far. It's a free group. I'm not pitching anything. I'm not selling anything. I just want to make information in this career field more readily available for everyone, and to perhaps answer any questions that I used to have and I didn't have the resources, or there weren't the resources available when I got started. So the question I want to go over today is a question that I got from AJ. AJ21. Hi David, I recently learned on YouTube that you have experience as a commercial appraiser trainee, and I wanted to reach out to you for some advice as I will be interviewing for a commercial appraiser assistant role soon. I would greatly appreciate any insight you may have about the role. I would be grateful if you can help me create a checklist of all the appraisal tasks and the appraisal software and SaaS products you're currently using. Don't share the name of the software if you're not comfortable sharing it. Your knowledge and expertise would be extremely helpful as I prepare for my interview and gain a better understanding of the responsibilities of a commercial appraiser assistant. So AJ watches my video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving a comment in the Discord group. If you have any questions, leave them in the YouTube comments or leave them in the Discord group, and I will try to get to them and answer your question as soon as I can. So I had a reply back to AJ about his question regarding what kind of task an appraisal trainee does, and that's going to be the concept of this video and the topic that we're going to be discussing is, as a appraisal trainee, what do you do? What are the tasks? What are the things that you need to do, be prepared to do, or asked to do, and what your daily job kind of looks like? So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about generally the main ideas and the main things that you're doing, not exactly what you're going to be doing by day to day, but just kind of overall of basically what a commercial appraisal trainee does. So this is how I replied back to AJ. I said, happy to help. Here's a brief checklist of the typical tasks as an appraiser assistant. Number 1, researching the subject property information, reaching out to the county assessor to confirm taxes and valuation concerns, reaching out to the county appraisers to get building sketches, reaching out to the brokers to confirm sale information, entering the subject information into the company's Excel model, researching entering comps into the company's Excel model, and researching and writing a market/economic analysis of the subject property area and property type. So those are just some general things that I listed, but let's kind of go over each one of them of what they mean and kind of what it looks like. The main thing you're going to want to be doing is researching the subject property. So when you research subject properties, here's some things that you might need to do. This is what I do when I research a subject property. Before I actually go on what you do in terms of a subject property, I should probably emphasize, as a trainee, you're going to be wanting to build a work file. In the work file, anything that you research in terms of the subject, the comparable, the market, anything that you find out during your appraisal and any information that's new to you or new to the client, even if it's confirmation, whatever that you research, you're going to want to build a work file. You're going to want to have proof that this is where you obtain information. You can do that by either getting screenshots. You can either print PDFs and saving it into an online cloud or into your local desktop. But as a trainee, your job during your due diligence of researching information, your job is to build a very strong work file. In case, in the event that someone has an issue with the appraisal report that your company puts out, or if they have an issue with the value and they complain and they take it to the state, then you need to, in front of a court or a judge, explain your basis and reasoning and the source material of how you came to your conclusion and where you got your information from. As a trainee, the number one thing is building a solid foundation in a work file. Now that's out of the way, here's kind of what goes into a subject file, work file, and what you're going to be doing with your subject property. Here's a list of things that I do and kind of what they mean. One of the things I'm going to add to my work file is the area of the property. And an aerial is basically, you can use Google Earth, you can use your county assessors, you can Google Map. Basically, you're going to try to demonstrate and provide information of what the property looks like from a bird's eye view or a drone view. And with the aerial, sometimes you might draw an outline of this is where the property is, you might point an arrow, but you're gonna wanna have an aerial of the property. You're gonna wanna get a building sketch to see the measurements of the property if you're not able to measure the property, or if it's not required, or even if you did need to measure it, it's nice to have a building sketch, because most properties, they're gonna be measured either by a prior appraiser or by someone from the county, and they're gonna measure the property, and they're going to have a gross building area or a net rentable, some sort of square footage for that record. And getting a copy of the building sketch can save you a lot of time and can help you cross-check to see if you were off your measurements. You're going to want to pull a plat map. You're going to want to see the survey of the property, which sometimes highlight the boundaries of the property. It might have the information of the frontage of the property to see how many square foot is the property that's touching the street, or if it's on a corner, what's the square footage on both sides. So having information of the street frontage is important. If you're appraising like a retail property, for example, you may may want to look at the average daily traffic in the area. If it's a retail property, knowing the traffic that goes to that area is very important. You're going to want to look at flood maps. Is your property in a flood zone? Is it not in a flood zone? When was the last time it was even checked? You're going to look at the zoning of the property. Is it a residential zoning? Is it a commercial zoning? Is it in compliance or is it conforming? Is there enough parking? Is there parking required? Is it following setback rules? Is it basically zoning is a big one, but that's just some of the main things in a subject file. But then you're going to want to do more research of what your subject is. For example, if your property is a multifamily, you're going to want to be looking at what types of units are offered. What is the rents that are offered? Does the website have floor plans? Do they have unit plans? Do they have a site map? You're going to look at the unit amenities. For example, does it have stainless steel or white/black appliances? Does it have laminate, or does it have quartz countertop? Does it have carpet and tile flooring, or maybe it has luxury vinyl flooring? Is there washer and dryer in the unit? Is the heater electric or is it gas? Is there air conditioning? Is it baseboard heating, or is there a P-tack for heating and cooling? Is there patios? Is there storage? Did they install a smart thermostat? Is it a mix of classic units and luxury renovated units? Basically, you're going to want to look at the individual details of the unit in this example. Continuing the example, you might want to look at the community amenities of your subject. Is there parking available? Is it garage parking? Is it surface parking? Is it covered parking? Is it underground parking? You might want to look at outdoor amenities like, is there a pool? Is there a fitness facility? Is there a playground? Is there like maybe a barbecue area? Is there a clubhouse? Is there a leasing office? Is there on-site maintenance? Is it a garden walk-up apartment? Or is it maybe like a mid-rise with secured entry? Are the locks for the units, do you enter via key, via keypad? But basically, you're going to want to research the amenities that your subject offers. Interior, exterior, so on. After you do your own research on the property, you might have to reach out to the assessors. And with the assessors, you might be able to get the building sketch, you might be able to get the taxes, the land value, the improvement value. Sometimes none of that information is available. You might have to call the assessor, and that might be because a property has, for example, maybe affordable housing or affordable units, and so the tax are deferred or they are exempt. And so you might have to call the county or the taxation office to figure out if there's any tax exempt for the property. When did it start? How long does it last? When is the exemption over? And then you'll call the assessors to see if they have a building sketch available for you to your work file. There are some cases where you might be working with a broker. Maybe the property has sold or is currently pending under contract, or it's being listed and an appraisal is being ordered. So you're going to want to have a communication or conversation with the broker. You're going to ask them, is this property listed? How long has it been listed? Has there been any potential interest? Has there been any other offers? Do you guys have a market price? Are you negotiating with something right now? You might want to cross-check with what your research is, what their amenities are, maybe what they have for square footage, their parking count, and sometimes you might be in a non-disclosure state. Having information from the broker is probably the only information you can get about your subject. Luckily for me, in Oregon and Washington, we're in a disclosure state, so if I need information, I can also verify it with the county, and I can also cross-verify it with the broker. So after you get all that information, you're going to want to enter this into your company's model. It might be an Excel model, it might be a software that you're using. You're going to want to have all this information into your model. Sometimes in the beginning, you're just researching this information and you're just collecting this information. As you continue this journey, you might have the information, the knowledge, and the procedure on how to enter this information into the model that is being used to come up with the valuation and the value of the property. Aside from researching the subject, you are also going to want to research the comp. And so generally, the appraisers will have a list of comparables. It could be land sales, it could be improved sales, it could be rent comps, it could be retail lease comps, it could be tax comps. So basically, they're going to send you a list of comps and they're going to pull it, and your job is to go down the list and research every single one of them the exact same way that you would for a subject. You're going to look at the area, the zoning, the flood, how is this property comparable to your property. You're going to want to find out as much information as you can because you're going to want to build a sufficient work file. And if anyone asks, how did you get this information for this comparable, you have that data available and you have that to protect yourself. But like I said, you're going to research the subject and the comparable same way. Lastly, you're also going to want to research the market and economic analysis. You're going to probably write that. It might be a little bit later as you're more familiar with your job duties, but eventually you're going to be writing the economic and market analysis. And that basically what that means is that you're going to be researching the area that your property is currently in, how the local market is performing, how the major market is performing, how is your asset type performing in that specific market, are there any competitive properties that are competing against your property. You're going to be looking at the traffic. You're going to be looking if the property is in a financially expansion stage. Is it stable? Is it at risk of a recession? You're going to want to look at the geographic area. You're going to look at the traffic. You might want to look at the drive time. If this property is located in this area, in 15 or 10 minutes, where can you go with the traffic that is available to the property? And you might do an analysis of the asset type. How does this property fare as let's say a retail property compared to the other retail properties in the area? How are the rents compared to the other properties in the area? How is the vacancy rate or the occupancy rate compared to the area? Are there any new constructions in the area? But like I said, the subject, the comparables, and the economic analysis is probably what you're going to be doing the most as a trainee in the appraisal field. As for software, it depends on the company. Some companies have access to more software, some companies don't. But here's this list that I use specifically, and most of them are paid, but there are some free services. For example, we use RealQuest for property information, CoStar for property information, Moody Analytics for economic analysis, and then we use Reese for economic analysis, but that's pretty much it. The rest of that is free. For example, you can go on the FEMA flood maps for the flood zones. You can look at the O'Alley Drive maps to find out the drive map for your property. You can look at the county assessor records and the county GIS for zoning, taxes, assessed value, square footages, and so forth. You can also check the USDA web soil survey. Maybe you're doing a farm or an agricultural land and you need to figure out the soil, the type of soil that is in that area. But aside from that, whatever tools you have available or whatever tools the company provides you, it is your job as a trainee to research the subject, to research the comparable that are being used, and to research the market or the economic analysis of that property. And you might have some administrative tasks, like maybe you're drafting an engagement letter for a client, maybe you're entering stuff into the calendar to figure out when assignments are due. You might be sending out emails for reminders or just getting information for data, but that is just part of the whole process of being a trainee. You will have some administrative tasks, but your main task is to help build the work file for the appraisal that you are currently working on. Anyways, that is all that I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, like I said, leave in the comments or feel free to go on the Discord group and leave a comment there. I try to answer every question that I can as soon as I can. It might take me some time to get to all your questions, but honestly, it makes me really happy that I can actually be a resource to many of you and that I can answer some questions, because when I got started in this industry, everything was completely new to me. And everything I had to kind of figure out my own. I would have to check certain websites, and sometimes I would have the answer, sometimes they wouldn't. And this industry is there's just not a lot of information about it, and I feel like it deserves much more. I just want to say thank you to everyone that has watched my videos thus far and has commented, has reached out, messaged me directly, reached out for advice, and said thank you directly. So I just want to say thank you to all, and thank you to those that have subscribed and continue to support me. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.